Now, it's one thing to get paid for offering a service or for selling a product. What about getting paid just for having an idea? What about getting paid $11,928 for just having an idea? That's exactly what happened to me, and you're probably wondering, how in the world do you get paid for just having an idea? Well, that's what I'm going to talk about in today's video. So let's find out what it's all about. What's going on, everybody? Jeff Rose from GoodFinancialSense.com, and today we're going to talk about how to utilize the expertise you already have, the experiences that you have, and how you can monetize that into an online course. Now, if you haven't checked out this video, there's another video where I interview the CEO from Teachable.com, Encore, and I talk about the 7 steps to create a course that generates 6 figures per year. Now, for many, that is daunting. That just seems like impossible. And let me tell you, I was in that camp too. I just didn't think that was possible until I actually did it. But here's the craziest thing. So many people fall into this camp of, I want to create this course, but is anybody actually going to buy it? And why do I want to waste my time in creating something when there will be no one to buy it at the end? And that's a reasonable fear, because I don't want to waste a lot of time creating something if nobody's going to buy it, right? That makes sense. So a strategy which completely blew my mind was from a good buddy of mine, Grant Baldwin. So my buddy Grant Baldwin is a professional speaker, and he's been doing that for a long time. It has generated thousands and thousands of dollars from professional public speaking fees. But he got to the point with his family and his 3 young girls that he didn't want to be on the road anymore. Yes, he was getting paid a lot to speak, but he got tired of just the travel and being away from his family. So he wanted to figure out a way that he could stay at home more and just spend time with his family, but still generate a nice income. So he decided to take all of his experience from public speaking and everything that he's learned along the way and put that into an online course. But in the same fear that I had was, he didn't want to put a lot of work into something if there was nobody willing to buy. So what he did was he created the concept and then he pre-sold it. And that's exactly what I did. So with my course, which is called the Online Advisor Growth Formula, instead of putting hours upon hours and weeks upon weeks of work into this program, I decided I want to see if anybody is interested. So I had an email list that I was able to get some financial advisors on, and I just emailed them and said, hey, here's my idea. Here's what I want to create. Is this something that you're interested in? And oh, by the way, if you are interested, here is a link to pay for it, and you'll be able to buy this at a discount since I don't have this created yet. And that's what I did. So I'm going to pause right there and just let you kind of just chew on that and think about that for a minute. Okay, so with me? So let's just kind of think about that for a minute. So how did I know that? How did I know that I had something to offer? How did Grant know that he had something to offer? Well, as you become known for something, and with me, I was known not only as a financial advisor, but I was known as a financial advisor that started a blog, that started doing YouTube, that understood online marketing. So I had people contacting me, asking me how I did what I did. So in your own life, are there situations where people ask you how you did something? And do people come to you and ask you over and over again that same question? And that's how it started with me. I wanted to create a course. I had so many different ideas. I just didn't know which one would make the most sense. And a good friend asked me, well, what do you get asked the most? Like, what's one question that people ask you over and over again? And I started thinking about it, and there's a lot of these questions, but the one that really stood out at me was financial advisors asking me how I figured out online marketing. I would have people contact me from all over the country asking me that question. So I then would answer that question. And then I had so many people asking me that question, so many advisors, that I started charging for my time. And it started off like, it was like $50 an hour, $100 an hour, and I kept increasing that rate until I finally thought, you know what, this is my course. This is what I'm going to do. But once again, I didn't want to waste a lot of time creating something if nobody was willing to buy it. So that's when I really had to sit down and think about, if I was to create a course, what would that look like? What would the outline be? What would I want to cover? And if you ever taken a class, you have like a syllabus which outlines, what exactly you're going to cover in that class. Or if you think of a book that you're reading, if you think of the outline of that book, what does that look like? And that's what I wanted to create first. So I spent some time putting together an outline and just listing everything that I think that I would want to cover in that course, or that I think that people would want to learn in that course. And I put that together in a nice Word document. And I think this document was maybe 1 or 2 pages. So it wasn't a ton of work, but just made sure that people understood exactly what I was going to cover if I did create the course. So I then emailed my list that I had. I think there's only about 150 or so advisors on this list. And I just asked the question, hey, I'm thinking about creating this course. This is what I'm going to cover. Once this course is out, it's going to cost anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. But if you're interested, since I just have the idea and haven't created this yet, you're going to be able to get in at a low price of $497 if you buy today. And that's the email that I sent out. And I gave them a week or so to decide if they wanted to purchase it. And at the end of that week, I had 24 financial advisors pay me $497 for an idea of a course that I hadn't even created yet. It blew me away. And what's even cooler is that this was all done through PayPal, so I didn't have to pay anything, maybe a small transaction charge, but I didn't set up a pretty website. I didn't have a pretty landing page. All it was a Word document or a Google Doc and a PayPal link, and I got paid for that idea that I had. But it was more about just getting paid. It was validation. It was knowing that this was definitely an idea that people were willing to pay for, because they did pay for it. So now I had some money up front. I had validation. So now when I went into creating this course, I knew other advisors would pay for it, because guess what? I already had 24 that were willing to do it. And the same thing happened with Grant's course. He was able to pre-sell his course and had people lining up to get in because they wanted to learn how to become a public speaker. And he's not the only course creator that I've seen do this. I've talked to dozens of other people that have a course idea, and before they even create it, they pre-sell it to their community, to their list, whoever they have that's interested in whatever topic they're talking about. So now that they have somebody up front, and they don't have to worry if they actually can sell it on the back end. So one unfair advantage that I did have was I did have a blog, and I did have an email list. So, well, how can you do this if you don't have an online presence? Well, in social media with Facebook, is there something that you talk about a lot that you like to share content on? Maybe you could create a fan page or a community around that topic. And if people are coming to you and they want more information on whatever that topic is, then there is a potential course idea there that you can create. But before you waste your time, now you know that you can actually pre-sell it to make sure that people are willing to pay for it. And let me just talk about that real quick, because there's a clear distinction between those that may want to purchase versus those that actually do. I could have emailed my list and asked, hey, would you be interested in this course if I created it? And I'm sure everybody could have said, yeah, I'm interested, I'm interested, I'm interested. But if they don't actually pay you, then how interested are they? They have to be willing to open up their wallets, open up their purses, and actually make that purchase. And that's how you truly know. And that's why I included that PayPal link in that email, because I just didn't want to know if they were interested. I wanted to know if they were willing to pay for it, and pay for it right there. So this all went down. This was just about 2 years ago that I was able to pre-sell that course and make that $11,928. Since then, that course has made me 6 figures each year over the last 2 years. And going into the next year, I have no doubt that we'll make 6 figures again, and maybe more, because we have some other upsells and some other course ideas that we're going to add on to it, just based on the people that have bought thus far and just the feedback that I've got on the content that I have. So creating courses is something that I'm passionate about, just like with blogging, creating videos, because I know that people want this stuff. People want to know how to do certain things. They want shortcuts to understand how to achieve what you have achieved without having to do it themselves. So what is your course idea? What is something that you've maybe thought about, that you've been kicking around, that you just haven't done it yet? Well, guess what? Maybe you don't have to do it, because if you have the idea and you want to be able to pre-sell it, that will give you the motivation to go out there and actually create it, get paid for your expertise and your knowledge, and just have a whole lot of fun doing it in the process. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope that if you have a course idea, if you've been kicking around, you're ready to take that first micro step, that first mini step in getting that course out there and getting paid for what you enjoy teaching. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel because I want to be able to share more information like this for you to help you increase your wealth and help you take charge of your financial future. And if you haven't yet, like this video, leave a comment below and let me know where you're at in your course creation process. Is this something you ever considered? And any questions that you might have. Until next time, this is Jeff Rose from GoodFinancialSense.com saying peace.